Today, covering Matchweek 19 and 20, Boxing Day fixtures came through with goals galore. Rest of the match days included City rolling, Liverpool and Chelsea slipping. Is the title race over, Sam? Tottenham and Arsenal stay hot. We get to see teams like Brentford that we haven't seen in a while, and everything else from the past two match weeks. Also previewing the upcoming fixtures in this next calendar week. This is the Premiership Perusal.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs, and the ball in behind Damian Vardy! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
The answer to your question is yes, it's over. It's all ogre.
It's all ogre.
I mean, when you have City out here who can field like 3 different squads
Yeah.
and be like perfectly fine.
We didn't even think that it would come down to survival of the fittest, including Chelsea. We thought they'd be fine.
Yeah,
And then, lo and behold,
then they weren't.
they got wrecked.
Speaking of the probable champions, Manchester City versus Leicester City. First game of match week 19.
Yep.
Quite a strange one. Starting off with the lineups for Manchester City. Ederson, Ruben Diaz, Zinchenko, Laporte, Cancelo, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Sterling, Silva, Mahrez. And for Leicester City, Schmeichel, Albrighton, Amarte, Vestergaard, Luke Thomas, Tielemans, Perez, Dewsbury Hall, Ademola Lookman,
Adamola.
James Maddison, and Iheanacho. So getting into this game,
This one starts hot and heavy.
yeah, City right off the bat, 5 minutes in, get on the board. De Bruyne just has way
Give him
too
that
much
space.
space.
Just give him that.
Absolutely
You should give him that,
disrespectful
Leicester.
to De Bruyne. And what do you know? It's 1-0. You know, what can you do?
That's Leicester's problem the whole year. It's like, even though you have defensive players in the midfield and you're supposed to have decent defenders, they're clearly not on the same page. The level and the gap between the guys is always just too much, it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, especially with these backups like Vestergaard, it's really been quite poor for Leicester so far since signing.
Damn Southampton, bros. We took a dub on that, on the Vestergaard signing.
Turns out signing 2 guys from a team that lost 9-0 back-to-back seasons, not that great.
Against that same team.
So anyways, moving on in the game, 13 minutes in, penalty given after a VAR review. Tielemans takes down Ruben Diaz on the corner kick. I thought it was pretty obvious penalty.
Yeah, he got pulled down.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know what Tielemans is doing. Trying to get away with one, I guess.
Yeah. Mahrez.
Anyways, Mahrez
He's been in
converts
fuego.
2-0. He's just one of those guys that pops in sometimes and scores some goals and then won't be in the team for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was weird how long it took between the VAR review and then the actual pen.
Yeah, it was.
It took a long time.
I mean, to me, it was pretty obvious. It's just like they hate calling penalties on corners.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It was a penalty. They took forever. Delaying the inevitable for Leicester. James Maddison, talking about being in fuego.
Yeah.
Has a free kick saved
He's
by
back.
Ederson. Unlucky not to score on that one. That was kind of the only hope for Leicester in the first half.
Yeah, James Maddison should have 2 more goals this year. That one and Ramsdale.
Yeah, for sure. He's been pretty unlucky. But Manchester City score again, 3-0. Gundogan. Schmeichel can't handle Cancelo's cross.
Yeah.
Gundogan just taps it home.
Gundogan's just too good.
3-0, 21 minutes in. Leicester, you're thinking, oh, no.
It's already bad.
The bad things are happening. And then, guess
again.
what? It gets even worse. Tielemans just having a real shocker out here. Second penalty given up. Sterling. Then Sterling scores his own penalty. 35th minute, Sterling almost scores again, but does not. And Gundogan has a chance, and then it goes into halftime 4-0. At that point, you're doing some damage control.
Yeah, it's, 4-0 inside 25, and then just doing what you can to hold on to get the half.
Very rough. But guess what? They come out of the half. Brendan Rodgers gave them a real speaking to in the halftime dressing room. 55 minutes, they get a goal from who other than James Maddison, the man who was terrible for most of the season.
Yeah, he's coming on.
Has just absolutely popped off. And then a quick one, 59th minute, just 4 minutes later, Lookman, another counterattack goal. It was looking dangerous for him, catching City sleeping. The comeback's on.
4-3.
And then 4-3, Iheanacho scores off the rebound. Nice save by Ederson on James Maddison. And you're thinking, oh boy, could it be? Could it be?
So this is why we doubted City for a lot of the season. They just will lose lack of focus. A lot of times it's just for games, but I mean, this whole second half defensively, there's just times where there's like one guy back.
Yeah, for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, just terrible.
Just really confusing as to why that was happening. But the more confusing thing, Leicester's set-piece defense. That's right. 5-3, Laporte scores off the corner.
There's like 3 teams. I mean, they're all pretty much equal. I know Leicester gives the most up, but off corners and headers, specifically off set pieces, that are like, I don't know that we've seen like 3 teams this bad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And at that point, the comeback is over. And then City add numero 6.
The tap-in merchant.
Sterling. Again, on the corner kick. Yes, the tap-in merchant. So, 6-3, City, a little shaky. But it's kind of weird to be saying they were shaky in a 6-3 win.
Yeah, when you go up 4-0 inside 25, I mean, it's hard to maintain that focus. But even if, you're finding it hard to maintain focus, you can at least see it out by kind of just playing possession and working the ball. But
yeah, right.
Pushing so many guys forward and then you get caught out.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Leicester for coming out of halftime looking a lot better. I mean, that's hard to do when you're down 4-0 at half.
Yeah.
Through 25 minutes, even.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do when you're Leicester? It's your season, I mean, it's virtually over in terms of, I guess they could maybe qualify for Europa League if they go on a low run because they're still only like 11th, but given where they wanted to be start of the year, so disappointing. And this game pretty much encapsulates it.
Yeah. And
just frustrating because it's like, it's there, but then even if you get close to it, like in this game, they're 4-3, they just piss it away with just terrible defending.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to get any easier for Leicester, that's for sure. Moving on.
It's not going to get easier for?
To the second match.
Norwich. Because they got wrecked.
Norwich
these match weeks
is absolutely garbage. Let it be known that we sold Norwich's stock a long time ago.
At the peak.
So let's get into
People were trying to sell it preseason. We weren't in on it. Then it was the lowest of the low. We bought a little. We saw it went up a bit, and we immediately got off.
Yes. Stonks. Lineups. For Norwich, Angus Gunn.
Yes.
Aarons, Gibson, Kavak, Brandon Williams. In the midfield, Billy Gilmore, Kieran Dowell, Placheta, McLean, Josh Sargent, and Timo Pukki leading the line for Arsenal. Aaron Ramsdale, Tierney, White, Gabriel, Holding.
Rob Holding, back.
No right
In the
backs.
No, you don't need one.
No
Not
right
against
backs.
Norwich.
Who dis? Midfield, Partey, Saka, Odegaard, Xhaka, Martinelli, and Lacazette up front. So this one, not too dissimilar from the Manchester City game, got started out with a quick goal. 1-0. Saka scores.
Sock. Bakayo Sock.
Bukayo Saka scores 6 minutes in from the nice team play.
Yeah, quick build-up play on that one by Arsenal. And that shot, I guess, from edge of the box, far post by Saka. He's just coming into form as the season goes on, it feels like, especially in attack.
Yeah.
I mean, the effort's always there, but in terms of passing and shooting, he's really kind of clicking now.
Half goes on. Arsenal in control of the game. Norwich not really
Would you say that?
offering much in attack.
I'm not sure I can agree with that.
As usual. 44th minute. They get a second goal through who other than Kieran Tierney.
Pings one far post, off the post.
Just says, I'll do it myself.
I felt like my boy Agnes Gunn got hung out to dry this week because I feel like half the goals were virtually unsavable.
Yeah, I
Like
can't
this one
argue with
was
that.
this one was just like a laser posting in. There's nothing you're doing about that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's played from the other side of the field all the way over to Tierney.
Right.
So
Yeah, it goes into halftime, 2-0 Arsenal lead. And then 67th minute, they get a third goal, again through Saka. Just a really nice individual effort on this one. Nice finish as well. Yeah, he's just been fantastic.
yeah, he's really coming. I mean, everyone on Arsenal right now. Still, you worry definitely more about the defense than the attack, for sure, because you just never know. But, I mean, you feel good. I mean, Lacazette, as you know, it gets I think the fourth one off the pen.
Yep.
I mean, he's even coming in. Is there any way of an extension for him maybe if he keeps playing like this?
Well, I think it really comes down to him whether he wants to accept like a 1-year contract, which he probably won't.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal, in terms of offering something longer, are probably pretty weary.
Yeah,
especially
since
coming off the
Aubameyang and
situation.
Ozil, you never know. So, but no, I mean everyone on Arsenal in attack. For a while, it was last few match days is Martinelli who's really clicking. For that, it's Odegaard, and these guys are still playing really good, but they were really clicking the last couple match days, and now Saka the last two coming on against Leeds and now Norwich.
And then you have the benefit of bringing on Smith Rowe, who immediately after getting subbed on helps get that penalty with a nice through ball to Lacazette, who got fouled. And then in the 91st minute, scores for himself.
Oh, but we didn't talk about it. Pepe, out of nowhere.
Yes, Pepe
a Pepe
is alive.
appearance. He
Pepe
got an
is
assist.
alive. That's true.
What was that?
It was a nice assist from Pepe.
Couldn't believe it when I was watching. I saw him come on, and he comes on and gets an assist. It's like, uh-oh. That's when you know everyone's clicking.
True. Yeah. So anyways, 5-0. Norwich, absolutely in the dumpster. They just offer literally nothing in attack.
Mm-hmm.
And their midfield is pretty garbage, and their defense is pretty garbage.
Yeah, I mean, we figured it would probably just be Dean Smith is just going to have to kind of figure out some guys that they'll be able to utilize next year in the championship because it seems just too far gone. But
yeah,
it's what do you got to say about Norwich? They stink. They stink big time, and Arsenal's streaking hot.
Yeah, I agree on that. It's kind of assessing what you have and see where that brings you next season.
Yeah, no hope for Norwich.
Who you can build around, which I'm not sure there's anyone.
But let me tell you who has hope.
Yes.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal
Let me tell you
Palace.
who also has the slightest glimmer of hope. Tottenham Hotspur.
Games in hand FC.
Yeah, pretty much. Start off Tottenham's lineup: Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Tanganga, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Royale, Skip, Son, Kane, Lucas, Moura. I mean, you got to say Conte's got his guys.
Yeah,
He's like, you know what? I see what David Moyes does and keeps the same lineup out there pretty much every game. I'm gonna do that.
Interesting to see Tanganga in there as well.
Yeah. Jack Butland, also interesting to see.
Jack Butland, he's alive.
He's still here.
I thought he was on
hanging
Stoke.
around.
Isn't it like 2012?
Joe Ward, Tyreek Mitchell, Tompkins, Anderson, Kouyaté, Hughes, another start, Gallagher, Ayew, Zaha, Edward. This one kind of starts off a little slower. Son and Ayew with some chances early, but nothing really until the goal in the 30th minute. But I don't know. It was just a lot of back and forth between both squads, but just no edge in the final third by either side. Palace, I guess, was on the front foot, you'd say, but you know Tottenham, they like to just sit back anyways, so that's kind of just how it is. They're just going to settle for counters and especially long balls. And the long balls in the first 30 minutes for Tottenham until the goal were very poor. Very poor, just like way over everyone's head. Good chance by Moura early also. Great ball in from Reguilon. Could not score. The Wilf getting his first yellow. This is important. He gets his yellow. It was pretty questionable.
Yeah.
It was Tanganga. Did you see that? He was like kind of jogging back towards net, going to pass it back.
Yeah.
And Zaha pretty much just whiffed on him, I would say. Maybe the slightest of shoves. Gets a yellow for it.
Yeah, it was...
That is definitely...
It was questionable.
You can give him a foul, but that was not a yellow.
Yeah.
And then it's one of those games where Palace probably feel a bit hard done by the ref, and you could tell from the away section, because then very next sequence, Palace give the ball away. A foul by Skip, not called. Should have been called. Palace kind of getting caught up in the, wait, come on. We need these calls. But yeah, then the goal, Palace midfield just caught out. Tottenham finally able to counter. Just pressing Oliver Skip really hard. I don't know why you're doing that. I know you like to press Palace. You don't need to press Oliver Skip. Lays it off to Højbjerg, who finds long through ball, and then Moura lays it off to Kane, 1-0.
Yeah, really, if there was a team not to press, it would be Tottenham.
You just
Because
say, okay,
that just
let
plays right into their hands.
Yeah.
I mean, you press, and then it's easier for them to, play a long ball.
Mm-hmm.
Hit on the counter.
Second goal, great run by Lucas from his own end, pretty much near like where the fullbacks were, pressing it all the way up, links up with Kane, who finds Emerson Royale wide, crosses it home to Lucas, who made the run all the way from the defensive end for 2-0. Palace's mid just caught out, and the D slow to react. No one closed out on Royale. That wasn't a great game for Palace. And they just weren't aggressive enough in the defensive third. I thought they were kind of sitting back. And then Wilf, they're down 2-0. Wilf wrecking havoc, gives a nice little shove, and that's all she wrote for Wilf. Wilf sent off.
The wind-up merchant has been wound up. How the tables turn.
Just know the two goals and the red card took place in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that sums up the match right there.
That pretty much ruined the game.
Yeah.
Because then Tottenham was just content to kill the game, actually passing around, but not really doing a ton. They still had chances, but they weren't great. Final goal was a nice cross to Son at the near post, on by like the slightest of margins. Originally called offside. Scores.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It looked like it was
the
offside,
near post.
but
Yeah, like that's. But that it looked offside because Palace is just slow in defense. I don't know what to say. 3-0 Tottenham. What are their odds to get the top 4?
probably
Chelsea
a lot
slipping.
higher
Arsenal
than
still good, but
what
we thought
people
before.
rate them.
Even now.
Because right now they have like the 2 or 3 games in hand, and you kind of forget about them because they sit in like 6th or 7th.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, if you do the math and say like, okay, if you win these, and
It just depends because they played Liverpool, but they still are going to have games against They still have one against City. They still have one against Chelsea. Still have one against Arsenal.
Yeah.
So they still have to play the big boys, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I would say the main thing that I'm impressed by is that Conte's getting something out of these guys who stink. Emerson Royale and Reguilón actually look like they're not as good as like Alonso was when Conte was at Chelsea, but they're pretty dang good lately.
Mm-hmm. And even I know like he's a big fan of Skip.
I know, out of nowhere, Oliver Skip.
I think he works okay in the team, honestly, because they're not like a super possession-based team. But yeah, I think that's super important for him to come in and be able to get stuff out of guys that are already there, because Daniel Levy is not going to spend.
Yeah.
So you got to make the most of what you got, and so far it seems like he's doing a pretty good job of that.
It's going to reach a point to where he says it, though. He's going to be like, oh, you need to buy me a place.
I can only play with Oliver Skip for so long.
Moving on, next game. Is it the West Ham? West Ham, Southampton.
Yes, Hank feeling very conflicted watching this match.
Fabianski, Shufal, Dawson, Jop, Masuaku, Fornals, Vlasic, Benrahma, Sushek, Rice, Bowen up front. No Antonio. Antonio dropped for this one.
Well, I can't argue with that. I mean,
form.
he didn't score for like nine games.
It is just one of those kind of crazy things. It's kind of like when Troy got dropped from Wolves, and you're like, oh, they did that, huh?
Yeah.
Fraser Forster, welcome back.
The big man.
Welcome back.
We're just like going throwback era, you know. We're going like to 2015.
Yeah,
we
it's
got
pretty
Jack
much
Butland,
2012 to 2015.
We got Gunn. We got Forster. I mean, if only Ben Foster was fit. That guy's been like the timeless wonder.
Kyle Walker-Peters, Mr. Livermento, Salisu, Bednarak, Romeu, Ward-Prowse, Redmond, El Nuacy, Theo Walcott, and Mr. Broja. This one.
Surprising to see Walcott and Redmond get in there. But
I know that he loves to rotate. Yeah, that too. But I feel like even with rotation and COVID, I think he likes to put them out there in certain games because he genuinely feels like we just need him out there to like sometimes hold possession or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he would do with Theo Walcott. This one starts off Southampton strong. What else is it? They comfortable in possession early. They can press West Ham, and West Ham look a little nervy being pressed. First major moment of the game is a goal. A little build out of the back by Southampton, slow and methodical. Working the ball through midfield. Kyle Walker-Peters, perfect little layoff, edge of the box for El Nuacy. Tucks it, bottom corner, 1-0. West Ham's midfield, I thought, a little slow getting back. A little slow, and then they're a little slow to press up to make sure you can't get the shot off. Rice kind of close to a block, not really, but they just sunk a little too far. After that, West Ham building pressure, few dangerous balls that were dealt with by Southampton very nervously because Mr. Fraser Forster, there was one moment where he's like laying on the ground. I don't know if you remember that. He's just laying on the ground. He like got knocked down from a corner, but he like wasn't acting like he's fouled or anything. But he couldn't grab the ball because he's lying on the ground. But he didn't stand up right away. It was terrible. After that, kind of towards, I guess nearing the end of the first half, Southampton kind of starting to build a little more pressure again. But then that allows West Ham great counterattack. Vlasic, they had a 3-on-2, could have laid it off to Benrahma, shoots instead. Good shot, big save Forrester. Juicy rebound though. Sushek can't get there. Cleared away. And this is why Sam loves Southampton. Sam loves their defense. That's why he wants to believe in them.
Well, I mean, when they score in the 8th minute, that just dictates the game, how it's going to go. You know, they're getting the dub because it worked.
Yeah. Second half, West Ham sub Antonio on. They're applying pressure just right away. So this is Southampton, textbook Southampton. Good first half, look the better team, score. and then it's just about to go to shit.
Yeah.
They sub on Antonio, applying pressure, corner by Bowen, headed over by Dawson, who had 2 guys on him, to Antonio, who's free in front of net. And once you know it, it goes in. West Ham keep up the pressure after the goal, with a chance going just wide from Declan Rice. But then a little counter-attack action by Southampton for a goal. It's a little contact outside the box by Dawson and Ambrosio while in the box. It was kind of strange because the original foul was outside the box, yet the second part of the foul, he kind of got Ambrosio in the box.
Yeah.
Penalty called. Was it Ward Prowse who scored? I don't
Yes.
remember. Ward Prowse slotting it home. I don't know. You kind of see with West Ham's defensive depth now. You like Dawson. He played well last year. You can't be super, super over-reliant on him, yeah?
Yeah. The combo of Dawson and Diop it's just no bueno. You need like a Zuma or Ogbonna in there to throw in with Dawson. I mean, you got to have something there. You need some more solidity.
Yeah.
Both those guys are kind of like, you can get away with them if you have them paired with like a more solid center back.
Ogbonna, who's hurt, but...
Yeah.
Or even Kurt Zuma.
Or Zuma, yeah. And it's
tough.
It's tough, yeah. But it's like we were saying, though, earlier in the season, this is what it would come down to for West Ham.
Yeah, we had to test the depth.
And it showed that, they don't have the depth to really continue with those good results.
True. So Southampton 2-1, they're pulling the Uno card reverse on you. They say, oh, we're not going to blow it. And then they proceed to give up a counterattack because 4 guys commit to Antonio, who's holding up play. Sushek counter ball to Bowen, who crosses at Benrahma for a goal. And then, around 75th minute, set piece, James Ward-Prowse swinging it in. Sam's guy Jan Bednarak with the header.
The tall pole.
3-2. How it ends. Chances galore in this game. What a result for Southampton.
Yeah, that's huge, especially after they've been struggling to pick up the 3 points, get 3 goals.
Yes.
It's
To win and concede 2 at West Ham is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
So, West Ham still slipping.
Yeah, they
at that
need to
point,
find a
1
spark.
win in their last 7, and it came off a Schoss against Chelsea.
Yeah, they need a spark. I mean, they need someone to step up, really. And the defense, I mean, what can you do? You have injuries and whatnot. That's tough. But you gotta
persevere.
deal with it. I
and you
mean,
gotta
every
find,
team's gonna have to deal with it,
Yes.
other than City, pretty much.
Yes. I would say if there's one bright spot from West Ham, Benrahma finally getting more involved, and we'll see him in the Watford game too.
Yeah.
Kind of starting to click a little more again. So, good news for them. Moving on. Chelsea and Villa. The lineups. Emi Martinez. Mateusz Kaszewski, the Pole. Matty Target, Konsa, Mings, Douglas Luiz, Morgan Sanson, Buendia, Jacob Ramsey, with Ings and Watkins up front. Chelsea, Mendy, Rudiger, Silva, Chalobah, Alonso, Jorginho, Kante, Reece James, Christian Pulisic, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi.
I did not know that Sanson was still on this team.
He's buried.
Yeah.
He's buried. That's a nice depth piece. This one starts off. Tack really couldn't get much going. I would say it's more because the defenses just look good. We've seen Villa's defense hold up against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's defense, we know how good they can be at times. I'd say the midfield is a little more open than you might think. There are definitely holes throughout both midfields. Few counterattacks early from Villa, and Chelsea kind of looking to exploit the wide spaces, but the best chance in the first 20 minutes or so comes off a Schoss off the crossbar. Mason Mount.
Shots alert. Shots alert.
We almost had the Schoss of the week right there. But we do have the own goal of the week right here. Reece James flicks it on. Matty Target originally sent in. Mendy can't do much. Was not expecting it. And you think, Chelsea, one thing goes wrong. Here we go again.
The cards will fall.
Here we go again. But they actually responded pretty well, I thought. Some nice build-up play. Actually had purpose. Eventually, they had a penalty as... Was it Mings? I think Mings crashed in the back of Hudson-Odoi's legs. Maybe it was the wide defender. I forget. Doesn't matter. Jorginho steps up. Slots it. 1-1.
The pen merchant.
He is the pen merchant if there ever was one. Villa, another good counter by Watkins. Mendy with a massive clear near the edge of the box. Another big chance as Villa intercepted a throw-in. I mean, this stuff by Chelsea is just like comical at some points.
You can't argue with that.
With what they're doing. It's like, how is I'm supposed to trust you? Fed Danny Ings for a shot, got blocked, but Chelsea able to recover defensively. Second half, Lukaku
kisses the badge. Absolutely loves Chelsea.
Loves Chelsea. What can you say?
Give him the blank contract. Put it on the table.
Yeah, give him. Where's the Rio Ferdinand?
Lukaku's at the
sign
wheel.
is yeah. Probably the best play from Hudson-Odoi all year.
Yeah, he actually
Not
did
saying much.
something.
Kind of poor defending though to allow that. They just stood off him and they're like, whatever, you can do it. Do what you want, Hudson-Odoi. You'll probably just dribble it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lukaku really good though to get to that spot, beat Mings there. I thought this game was important, I guess, for Chelsea because it didn't seem like they were too reliant on Mount and Reece James like they had been lately, especially on the right side. But and then Villa's ability to counter just kind of faded as the game went on. Their passing quality just kind of went down the tubes. Great chance for Chelsea. Perfect long ball to Mount. And Mount just put it wide as he walked Martinez. And an empty net and missed. Maybe Mason Mount was Chelsea's problem all along.
True. Definitely.
And then Chelsea kind of starting to sit back. A little more possession for Villa. This is kind of what they had to do against Liverpool, but they couldn't even do it against Liverpool. If they go into a game with the game plan of sitting there, looking to defend the whole time, and they go down, I don't like that. I don't like their chances.
Yeah, that's not a great plan. I mean,
because they don't, when they play well against the smaller teams, they're not going in with the game plan of just defending only.
Right. I mean, the best way that works out is that they lose respectably, 1-0 to Liverpool or something, but you're not going to win.
Well, it's not even that. You just have to bank that you're going to get the counter, but if the other team scores first, you have no other attacking plan other than counterattack. But you're not going to be able to counterattack eventually because that team's just going to defend.
Especially, it seems like Watkins and Ings, they get kind of put on an island.
Yeah.
Not really the greatest of service from the midfield.
Yeah, I would agree. But, I mean, they do have a very defensive-minded midfield. It's just they need Buendia or Ramsey to kind of give them that spark for midfield and attack.
Especially no John McGinn out there.
That absolutely kills as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea, chance to seal it. Callum Hudson-Odoi. What do you know? Couldn't score one-on-one. But you know what? Chelsea hold on defensively. Spring Lukaku for a break. Taken out. Jorginho, the pen merchant. 3-1. Game over. 3 points for Chelsea. Game was a lot closer than the score indicates, but also Villa did score off a fluke own goal, so it's like, I don't know.
Can't argue with that.
My takeaway from that game is I don't like when Villa goes in just planning to sit there.
Yeah.
Because they can be so much better than that.
I agree.
Moving on.
Two teams we haven't seen in what feels like forever.
It's been so long since I've seen Bobby Sanchez.
Bobby Sanchez had a lot of time to figure out what went wrong this season.
Yeah. He had to figure that out. Brighton, Brentford, Sanchez, Lamptey, Cucurella, Webster, Dan Burn, Alex McAllister, Mwepu, Lallana, Motor, Maupai, Trossard. As far as Brentford go, we're looking at Fernandez, Pinnock, Jensen, Sorensen, Thompson, Norgard, Canos, Jensen, Baptiste, Tony, and Mbuemo. So, missing a few guys still, but both teams kind of getting close to their main teams.
Yeah, two teams that really could have used a break,
Yes.
and they got one. So
Brighton needed to do it to clear their own head. Brentford needed to do it because they just had that.
They were doing some mistakes in the midfield.
Yeah, they needed a little reset. Brentford, some early chances. Brighton, for the most part, controlled the game in terms of possession, which is what you'd think. But early chance from Mbuemo over the top, but, beats the keep. But who's there, Sam? Who's there to clear it off the goal line?
Dan Burn.
Dan Burn.
Everyone's favorite Dan Burn. Shout out Dan Burn. I mean, the guy does it all. He's tall, he's fast, he's dangly.
I would just say Brentford did create their chances by getting to the second and third balls, and Brighton, when they did have to defend, didn't clear the ball and have clean possession as well as they have at times this year. But I will say Bobby Sanchez distribution this game, very nice.
Very nice.
Very
Great
nice.
success. No shanks.
But a lot of possession was kind of leading to nowhere. It's just when there's just times with Brighton where it's like, it's not even like the finishing, but the momentum and like what they're doing with the ball. There's no direction and edge to their attack. And
You're not getting that final ball to get someone in space to score.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does seem like they do struggle with that sometimes. It's just like, okay, well, the other team is kind of sitting back, and we're not really sure what to do with the ball to open them up.
Even like they'll be in 3-on-2s in the attacking third, and it'll be like Cucurella on the ball, and they'll have like a 3-on-2 in this tight little space.
Yeah.
And it's just like the intricate passing just isn't quite there, and it's like, well, now you can't even blame the finishing because the passing quality is just not good enough. But good passing quality right here. Long ball, over the top. What a shot by Trossard. The little dink. The little chip.
He's having a great season.
Sam loves his chips with the dip.
Absolutely. As my good friend Drake once said, I like my chips with the dip.
Second goal. Fast link-up play. Nice layoff for Maupai.
Neil Maupai?
From Mr. Motor. Hit from the edge of the box on mark. Great finish by Maupai. Kind of slipped when he took it, too. 2-0.
Danny Welbeck special.
2-0 before half. And this one felt a little over. It felt like Brentford was really, really rusty from the break, the COVID break. Just poor job throughout the game, spacing and closing to isolate guys. I mean, it's just they couldn't really touch the ball if they wanted to a lot of times. In the second half, I'll be quite frank, was very boring. It was not good. Finishes 2-0. Brighton. Good result coming back.
They scored
Brentford,
two goals. Holy smokes.
Brentford, not a good result.
2 goals for Brighton, especially in one half. That's like, wow.
It's unheard of.
They're rested, rejuvenated. They feel amazing.
They blew their load of goals in one half of football.
Yeah, so that's their goals for the next 10 weeks.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you figured one of these teams at least would be rusty, having not played. I mean, perhaps both of them in some ways,
Yes.
Good win for Brighton.
Absolutely.
Get your reset. Maybe start picking up some points here now.
You'd like to think so for Brighton.
So moving on to the last game of match week 19.
This was a great one.
A real scallywhacker. We got Newcastle United versus Manchester United.
The underdogs, Manchester United, go against the richest club in the world.
Yes.
Will they be able to do it on the road?
The most wonderful owners. In net, we got Dubravka, as Hank would say.
Yes.
As other people, my fellow Slovakians would say, Dubravka. Back four, we got Char, Lascelles, Kraft, Manquillo. In the midfield, Joel Ellington, John Joe Shelby, ASM, Scrappy Doo, Ryan Fraser, Sean Longstaff, and up front, Callum Wilson. For our United, we have David De Gea, Harry Maguire, Varane, Dalot, Alex Telles, Marcus Rashford, Fred, Bruno, Scott McTominay, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Mason Greenwood. So this week, for some reason, was the week of like goals within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
This one was no different. 7th minute in, who other than
Mr.
that
Saint
man,
Maximin.
Alain Saint-Maximin. Just a real encapsulation
Of what that man's about.
of what that man's about. Just some wonderful skill, brilliant finish. Newcastle, I mean, hey, can you say it was unexpected? Newcastle up 1-0, up the Magpies. Come on, lads.
What can you say?
But what can you say? United looking pretty god-awful in the first half. Can't string together any passes. For some reason, Bruno is like now a left back and is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's so far back.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
just
he
so
can't.
bad.
I was going to mention this. He can't get on the ball in spaces that he should be getting on the ball.
Yeah, he has to come so far back, and then he's getting like closed out, and then he passes to the other team. But just United in general, the passing was just really atrocious. I mean, let alone getting anything going in attack. So that was the first half. 38th minute, Callum Wilson scores, ruled offside. Goes into halftime, 1-0. United looking quite poor. Barely any chances. They make some subs. Greenwood comes off, and who else came off? And Fred. Yeah, Fred came off. So Sancho and Cavani come on.
Cavani might be a top 3 player this year for United.
Well, that doesn't say much. ASM with the chance,
Says a lot
47th
about
minute,
United.
right after halftime. He didn't really know too much about it, but he got saved.
Yeah, he just didn't get... He got like his calf on it.
Yeah,
And he didn't really connect with it that great.
yeah, unlucky.
Somehow no one else was there.
So then, Rashford has a chance, forces Dubravka into a save, but Newcastle still looked pretty good in the second half.
Rashford's like broken.
Yeah, he has been. Ugh. He needs to lose the ramen noodle hair. He's not Ronaldo. Come on. And then, of course, what do? You got Cavani scoring a clutch goal. I mean, that's what he does.
It wasn't
the
even a good
rebound.
goal.
Yeah, it was just the tap in from the rebound after his first shot. Ties it up 1-1. And then 75th minute, pretty shortly after, he has a chance, but is cleared off the line. Some really terrible defending by Newcastle, unsurprisingly.
Almost got the winner.
And then almost a winner for Newcastle as Jacob Murphy has a chance, hit off the post. And then David De Gea makes a great save on Mikel Almiron.
That would have been amazing if Almiron hit that. I mean, he did really hit it. It's just De Gea saved it. But
Yeah, unlucky. De Gea bailing out United again.
What else is new?
Ends up 1-1. Unlucky for Newcastle.
Yes.
I mean,
unironically, yes.
Unironically, yes, because
Newcastle
Newcastle
should have won. They looked the better team.
They did, and it's concerning for United. I mean, they're kind of falling back into their own old ways.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, that's kind of going to be expected. It's hard to make big changes overnight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe 2 steps forward, 3 steps back at times.
Yeah, I mean, the defense was so bad that they had to fix that first and foremost. They were so error-prone for that stretch near the end with Ole. It was so bad. They had to take care of that. And, I mean, if it means sacrificing some more attack, you don't really have a choice. You're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
And then kind of rely on the quality of players to just make up for, you know, the slight bit of less chances that you'll have.
Yeah, the fact that they have to rely on Cavani as much as they do, Like, he's not available all that often, but when
Mm-mm.
he is, I mean, they're always playing him.
Yeah, because he's too good out there. He knows where to be and what to do. A lot of these guys, for
Yeah.
whatever reason, don't. Because Sancho too, but Rashford and Bruno, their brains are like broken. They don't know
Yeah.
what positions they should be in.
I thought Sancho was...
He's been getting better.
He was getting
but
better. He was decent in this
I
game.
was more
after
talking
getting subbed
earlier in
out.
the year
Yeah.
with him. He was broken.
Yeah, Fred was god-awful. Bruno, terrible. I mean, just shocking. Rashford, terrible. Got some real concerns there. I mean, first and foremost,
Yes.
you got to get rid of Fred. That guy's trash. He's not a United caliber player. I mean, he's barely like an Everton caliber player.
How do you say that about Fred? Fred and McTominay holding it down. We'll get to that game later on. And by holding it down, I mean chances galore. This is both these match weeks, like I said at the beginning of the intro, chances galore. There's no defense played. Defense optional.
Yes. I mean, you love to see it, really. So
Moving on,
that one ends up 1-1, and that concludes
match week 19.
Match Week 19, Boxing Day, and subsequent matches.
Yes,
So,
suspended ones.
moving on to Match Week 20. First game, it's Palace versus Norwich. Getting into the lineups, Palace, Guaita. Sorry, Jack Butland, you're back to the
What
void,
made them?
the
What made
dungeon.
them decide to? How is Guaita like not healthy like the last game or so?
I don't know.
It's a lie.
Joel Ward,
It's all fake.
Derek Mitchell, Gahey, Anderson, Kuyate, Will Hughes, Schlupp, Jordan Ayew,
You love a good Jeffrey Schlupp getting rotated in.
Mateta,
Yeah,
Getting
Mateta in there. I like that.
Edouard up front. For Norwich, you got Gunn, Byram, Gibson, Sorensen, Janulis, Gilmore, Placheta, Tizolis, Lise Malou, Kenny McLean, Adam Ida. So they pretty much just clear house after that 5-0 drubbing.
Yeah, they're like, let's just let's leave Placheta out there and hope for the best.
Let's bring in everyone else so they can lose and be terrible. So anyways, continues on with the trend. 6 minutes in, there's a penalty. Hughes taken down in the box by Kenny McLean. Really just some poor play by Kenny McLean. Norwich's defensive struggles continue. Edouard steps up, converts 1-0. And really, of course, Palace are looking the better side in this game. Gets to the 38th minute, 2-0. Mateta scores on the first-time finish.
Yes,
At the
Edward
far
assist, baby.
Very nice play off the set piece there for Crystal Palace. And then shortly after, 42nd minute, they add a third. Jeff Schlupp scores from the tight angle.
I was just surprised in this one how much Norwich was caught out and Palace was able, not really to counter, but get the ball and then they move so quick. I mean, obviously that makes sense with play style, but eventually at some point Norwich just has to kind of like not try and build out from the back nearly as much and whatnot and not get caught on the ball in midfield. You would think.
You would think.
But, I mean, you're just setting yourself up for failure playing into Palace's hands that way.
Yeah. Norwich, their midfield, again, terrible. So out of sync with the defense, who was also terrible.
Mr. Agnes Gunn had no chance.
No chance. Unlucky. Norwich go down 3-0 at halftime. Couldn't bring myself to watch the rest of the game because that was terrible. So anyways, Palace pick up the 3 points with 3 goals. Norwich, another depressing defeat as they sink further and further away from the riches of the Premier League.
Yes. Unfortunate. Shouldn't roll with the same guys in the manager before who put you in that hole. Sorry, Norwich.
So that's another one for Norwich where they take a big fat L.
Let me tell you who kind of took a L on this one right now, Sam.
Yes.
Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham Hotspur.
We kind of said this, if there was a slip-up game coming up for Tottenham, this might have been it. Tottenham, Southampton. We're talking about at St. Mary's. We're looking Fraser Forrester.
The big man.
Kyle Walker-Peters. Perot getting rotated in. Salisu, Bednarak, Valerie, Ward-Prowse, Stu Armstrong, Diallo, Shane Long,
Yes.
and Adam Armstrong. As far as Tottenham are concerned, we're looking at Lloris, Davison Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Reguilon, Højbjerg, Winks, Royale, Son, Kane, Alley. One thing, too, that people don't really talk about enough with Tottenham and why they do have a chance for top four, they don't have any European competition. They're just going to have to throw their best lineup every week in the Premier League.
Yeah, same with Arsenal.
Yes.
Yeah, it helps a lot. I mean, it can't be said how much it helps, especially when you got all these postponed games and injuries, COVID, whatever. It helps having that extra time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
One thing of note, Shane Long getting in there over Brosia.
Sad times.
Mad lad. Ralph Hasenhutl's like, hey, we'll throw Sam a bone. We'll throw in Shane Long out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, it's 2012 to 2016 for goalies, but then Hasenhutl was like, what if we just did that for strikers too?
The throwback Forster and Shane Long combo.
They should bring in Kone, former Wigan and Everton man. They just start bringing back all these guys.
I mean, throwing
Stephen
Walcott,
Fletcher. Yes.
Redmond, he's kind of a throwback. Willie Caballero. I mean, their goalkeepers are just
legends.
Classic. It's funny, though, before we get into this one, you see Fraser Forster out there, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that guy is massive.
Yeah, he's 6'7", 6'8".
It's like, why is he so big? I don't know.
He's a big lad. This one kind of starts off struggles by both early on. And your guy Shane Long had a chance, but he whiffed.
Yeah, he's
big
rusty.
Swing and a miss. He is rusty.
He had to get in on the Southampton comical error misses in front of net.
Well, yeah, that's what Hasenhuttl pulled on the side before the game. He was like, look, you're going to miss a decent chance, at least a decent chance, if not a really good chance.
You're getting on the bloopers reel.
Yeah, I just thought that this was another one where, Kyle Walker-Peters was really important, especially early on for Southampton. We talked about how their wide defenders are really good. And even Perot in this game getting rotated in for Livramento was pretty influential. But Walker-Peters up a little further up the field because they had Valerie and Perot both in there. So he wasn't really in that fullback row. He's kind of just roaming. I thought that was strange. But, Tottenham's best attack off a chance from Kane dribbling, missing the pass to Dele. It's one-on-one with the keep. They had that 2-on-1 break. Not good by Harry Kane.
Yes, not
Davies scores from a set piece, but he was off. So Tottenham just blowing their chances early on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't counter against Southampton for, you can only do it for so long. But just, I don't know, on their own end, it seemed like they were really slow this game compared to the past few games.
Yeah.
Especially the Liverpool game. With the goal, Southampton throw in, poor marking and positioning by Tottenham allow for a great shot by James Ward-Prowse, Sam's guy, just a little banger.
Silencing the critics.
Yes, the one critic.
Yep.
And then the 95% of people who think he's just whatever.
I would say there's a good amount of people who really like him.
Yeah, there are.
That probably don't watch him that much, but I've seen him do the free kicks. I've seen him do the free kicks. He smashed that volley, eh?
Does anyone watch Southampton the way we do?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say after the goal is a little more balanced from Tottenham, but kind of settling a little in terms of long shots. But eventually, I want to say, no, the red card came before. Salisu.
Yes, 39th minute.
Second yellow. Sent off.
Just absolutely asking for it. It was like his fifth foul of the game.
He was very aggressive. I was surprised it took him till like the 30th minute to get his first yellow.
Just the absolutely ridiculous challenge to get the second yellow. It's like, what are you doing,
Never
man?
getting there. Kane steps up. Kane takes it. Yeah, it just was not good. Great ball from Harry Winks, though, to Son. He's been out of nowhere. This is why Mourinho wanted Mr. Harry Winks out in Roma. Second half, goal ruled off. Another over-the-top ball by Harry Winks. What'd you think of that? It was really close.
Yeah, man, I don't know how you can determine whether someone is really offside on these incredibly
It's so marginal.
tight calls. I mean,
especially if it's called on the field. Like, you'd think
Yeah.
they just leave it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tottenham, you feel pretty hard done by on that one, but
Mm-hmm. Yep, to say the least. Yeah, and the Tottenham just kind of struggling to get on the end of balls in the box. Southampton content to sit back, but the crosses were just not able to connect at all. Second half. And then Tottenham, I guess, not really a goal disallowed, but there was a ball lofted, and Doherty went up for a header, and Fraser Forster caught it, but like crashed into him and dropped the ball, and it rolled into net, or like slipped out of his hands or something.
yeah.
But he didn't really touch, like Doherty didn't go into him or anything. You can make a
I
case
thought, I
that
thought it was a foul on Doherty.
I disagree. Fraser Forster.
Well, we
hold on to that.
have no other option but to do
Settle
a
this with-
standoff.
Yeah, we're gonna have to settle this with combat after the podcast.
I'll
You'll be
see you in
Sou-
the octagon, Hank.
Yeah, you'll be wearing a Southampton kit, and I'll be wearing a Tottenham kit, and we'll duel. to
Be
the
wearing
death.
a Fraser Forster
Keeper
triple
kit.
XL keeper kit.
Those, on a separate note, those Hummel keeper kits where it's like flames, those suck.
Those are terrible.
Those are so bad.
Yeah, they're terrible.
I think Everton has them too.
Yeah, they do.
And Pickford's always rocking it.
They also have those like diagonal stripe, like black, and then like weird color stripes.
Yeah, I know.
Very strange.
I don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it ends. I think that... Oh, the very end. The very end with like one, or I guess not even a minute left.
Yeah.
But they had a break.
Yep.
They blew it dead.
Broja.
He was clear on net.
Oh, big block from Sanchez.
Oh, you're talking about... I forgot that happened.
Oh.
Literally at like the
Yes.
final whistle, like the 94th minute, Southampton cleared it, and they had two guys, and Tottenham had no one back, but they blew the whistle. They could have had a 2-on-0 break. Unfortunate for Southampton, but they can't complain too much. They get a point out of
Yeah.
it. So
Could have got the winner 92nd minute with Broja, but Sanchez with a big save there.
any takeaways for either side in this one? Southampton just kind of hanging around. Do you think, I mean, what would you give them in terms of, I guess you could either do a grade for how their season's been so far, or you could do what % they are to staying up. They're like 75%. They need a little more.
Southampton staying up? Yeah, I'd say
Like the
probably like 80%, maybe 85. Grade, I'd give them like a
C minus,
C plus.
C plus.
I would say.
Okay, that's fair. You can-
They've looked good sometimes, and they've looked pretty bad other times.
To be fair, I think, you know what, C plus is more fair because, and that falls a little more with Hasenhüttl. They didn't spend like really at all.
If you look at their squad, the fact that they
Livramento and Broja
they're two goalkeepers
and Peru.
in this game, Forster and Willie Caballero. They played Shane Long. They played Valerie, who hasn't played
And how long?
this season, I don't think.
Yeah.
They played Theo Walcott last game. I mean,
The Hans is doing the best he can.
it's not great, but hey, you stay up, then you buy someone else from Chelsea's academy.
Speaking of not doing great and talking about staying up, we got Watford at home at the Vic against West Ham.
The Craig Dawson derby.
It truly is. If only West Brom could somehow be involved. Bachmann, Messina, Cathcart, Femenia, Ciralta getting his first start since like the second game of the year. He's been out. Josh King, Tufan, Sissoko, Cucho Hernandez, Kuchka, and that man up front, Emmanuel Deniz. Fabianski, Schufal, Dawson, Jop, Ben Johnson, Lanzini, Noble, Bowen, Benrahma, Sushek, Antonio. So Antonio getting in, Ben Johnson getting in.
Mark
Lanzini,
Noble.
Mark Noble. Well, this is strange because Rice obviously suspended with a yellow card accumulation. It's like, well, do they go with just Sushek back there, or what exactly are they going to do? They're like, no, Mark Noble. We can get away with Mark Noble against Watford. This one starts off fast.
Another early goal.
Watford win the ball off a West Ham throw-in. West Ham, these two games, just so sloppy early for some reason. I don't know what that was about. West Ham throw in, given away. Beautiful sequence of passing by Watford. Nice little dribble sequence too by Emmanuel Dennis, the man. Slots it.
I mean, he's pretty much Watford. They're one and the same. Watford is Dennis at this moment.
If they were to sell him to another Premier League team, how much would they get?
well,
25
after they
to
go
30?
down,
Oh, if they go down, then like 20.
I'd say.
I mean, he was pretty
I
good.
think 30. I mean,
30 to Everton.
man, he's been really good.
Who would he go to?
Maybe Everton. That wouldn't be a bad shout. Maybe
Arsenal.
no, not Arsenal.
How dare you?
Wolves. I'm thinking. Yeah, I
wouldn't say they're
wouldn't
ideal,
mind
but
him
it
on
wouldn't.
Wolves.
Leicester,
Leicester, no, I think they have too many.
Brighton.
Brighton. Okay, I like that.
All right.
All right, Brighton it is.
Yeah, so West Ham, a little slow early, eventually get back on track. The main man, Tommy Sushek, former Player of the Year candidate from Jared Bowen, just sloppy defense by Watford, believe it or not.
Shocking.
But the whole middle of the box is just open for him to run into. He was outside the box and makes the perfect cut. And then another Watford giveaway, and West Ham able to counter up the wing. Nice combo passing between Lanzini, Antonio, Benrahma for the goal. Again, Benrahma, another goal. I think he's up to like 6 on the year, so nothing amazing, but they got to get it going.
Yeah.
They got to get it going. Goes into half, 2-1. Yeah, I mean, we talked about how Watford needed to just load it up the midfield at one point, and they kind of are still doing that, but it just sucks. It just really sucks right now.
Yeah.
And eventually it gets to a point to where they rotate King from the wing to up front and move Dennis kind of to a wing so then they can try and get him the ball easier. It doesn't make a difference, really.
The rest of their squad is just so bad.
It is very, very bad. But they give the ball away, counter by West Ham, strange bounce, falls to Bowen, 3-1, but it's reversed. VAR reversed the goal. After the disallowed goal, Watford go down, have a really good chance. Nice save, Fabianski. Again, he's kind of bailing out West Ham's defense this year by standing on his head half the time, it feels like.
Yeah.
Another goal. Jared Bowen taken down in the box. I don't know what Daniel Bachmann was doing chasing him from behind thinking he could get the ball. Doesn't make sense.
Where's Ben Foster? Come on.
I'll tell you where Mark Noble is. He's at the penalty spot, and he's stepping up, and he's banging one in.
The OG pen merchant, Mark Noble.
So good. Yeah, I mean, Watford in this game on the counter at least looked like half decent, but when it came to them just holding the ball in possession, it was never going to go. West Ham blew a few chances to score their fourth, to say the least, if you watch this one. But they eventually get their fourth. Bowen carries it to the end line, passes it middle of the box. Vlasic, who gets subbed on in the 85th minute for Benrahma, gets a goal. Good for him to get his first Premier League goal, Mr. Vlasic.
Not just a pickle. It's a striker.
They were not in a pickle in this one because it was 4-1. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get to the point to where Ranieri
I was gonna bring that up.
is gonna be out here in the next month or so.
Yeah, there's already talks like, oh, the board's back in Ranieri even after they've lost 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that means he's getting sacked.
Yeah, that means
soon.
it's nut cutting time for Ranieri. He's got to get another one here soon, or they're gonna be shit out of luck. 4-1. West Ham, nice response. I mean, it's only their second win in like 7 games or 8 games, but
It's
I mean, at least you won.
Yeah, score some
Got
goals.
that for you. Let me tell you about this one. Leicester, Liverpool, to the lineups. Schmeichel, Amartey, Ndidi as center back. Rodgers finally spicing it up. He's like, let's change this. This isn't working. Castagna, Luke Thomas, Sam's guy. James Madison, Chowdhury, Dewsbury Hall, Sumare, Vardy, Iheanacho for Liverpool. Alisson, Van Dijk, Shimikas, Matip, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mane, Salah, Jota. No Robertson, obviously. Red card, suspended for this game. Also missed the Chelsea game on this upcoming match week. Liverpool. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that it's pretty hilarious that Leicester decided to play with two midfielders over Vestergaard, who's a center back.
I'll tell you what, we Southampton bros, we won that transfer. It'd take £15 million any day of the week for him. Liverpool really just kind of came out and they were buzzing. They were controlling the play. Best chance really early kind of came through Henderson. Nice contact, just a little high. But then we have a penalty. Salah tripped, takes the pen, misses the penalty. It's saved by Schmeichel. Ball right back to him. You think, oh, he's got it. Leicester's defense not going to get there in time. Heads it off the crossbar.
Off the crossbar. Cleared. Oh, no.
Is this the fall of Mo Salah? Do we witness it?
Just a poor man's Emmanuel Dennis.
Pretty much.
That's what I say.
Leicester showing signs that they can break on the counter while maintaining good positioning in defense. You might say, well, that doesn't sound that crazy. It's crazy to Leicester this
How could
season.
this be?
It is very foreign to Leicester this season. Vardy and Madison had a great chance at about the 35th and 38th minute, but it was either blocked. I think one was blocked by Matip and the other was cleared by Alexander-Arnold. But as far as chances in the later part of the first half for Liverpool, Schmeichel had a pretty big save, and Henderson had another one that went over as well. So 0-0 going into half. Second half, Jota threw ball to Mane, 1-on-1.
Look away, Liverpool fans. Look away. He's doing that thing again, Hank. Mane is doing that thing again.
I've been saying this for 2 years now. I wish at this point it might be like so bad. Like, should he be dropped? I don't think it's absurd to ask that. He blows the most chances in the Premier League by like a mile.
He does, yeah.
I mean, with COVID, it's like, who do you replace him with? But
yeah, they don't really have
it's not like a wing, but
replacement for Mane, whereas you have Jota, who can easily replace. Okay, that's only against Arsenal.
Oh, God. That's against nobody. Well, I'll tell you what. They didn't score, and Leicester actually made them pay. Great build-up play. Kind of the first time they had like a slow, methodical, matriculation of the ball up the field. A lot of the stuff was just kind of hitting on the counter, but that quick 1-2 with a nice cut by Lookman. I would say the main thing on that was Alexander-Arnold was just so far up the field, and no one was back covering for him. No one rotated at that pivot. But
and you got to say, Lookman, man, what a signing he's been for Leicester.
He's kind of come on now.
Unexpected.
He's finally coming on.
And he's not like the most important player, but he has provided quite a bit.
Yeah.
For Leicester, compared to the rest of the players on their team.
Yeah, you would say that, obviously probably Madison and Vardy near the top in terms of attack, and then Lookman would definitely be third. I don't know who else you'd put. I'd say he's done more than Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
But, after that, it was Liverpool just trying to put one in the net. I thought that they were going a little too much through the air in terms of crosses. I mean, I get it. Leicester's just going to sit back, but you're not going to win a ton of
Yeah.
headers given your team. You have Jota and Salah and Mane. It's like, what are you doing?
Right.
I thought your guy Dewsbury Hall had an amazing game, especially the second half. Was really, really good.
Gotta love that guy. Dewsbury Hall. You know, he's the first wedding venue to play in the Premier League. Dewsbury Hall. Apparently it's a wedding venue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk with a chance near the end as the pressure mounts on Leicester's defense, but nothing. They couldn't score. 1-0 Leicester.
What a huge result.
I think this might be the biggest shock of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering Leicester played, 2 days prior. Liverpool had a week off. Leicester had 2 midfielders as their center backs.
There's just something to say that's like unprecedented about when you're not expecting the team to line up that way. You can just get totally thrown for a loop.
Yeah.
And
And not to mention like the backs against the wall mentality that Leicester probably went into this game with.
Yeah,
I
not to
think
mention they blew that 3-1 lead to them
Yeah.
a week ago.
That's something that I think Leicester does really well is when they're kind of not expected to win. You know, they can pop up and surprise you.
Yeah. Well, they should have been going with that mentality the whole year.
True. Can't argue with that.
Next one, Chelsea, Brighton, at the bridge. To the lineups we go. We have Bobby Sanchez in net for Brighton. Cucurella, Dan Burn, Veltman, Lamptey, Bissouma, Lallana, March, Maupay, McAllister, Motor up front. Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Kovacic, Pulisic, Reece James, Lukaku, Mount, and Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. This one starts off Chelsea breaking out early. Their attack looked pretty good. Yet Brighton able to kind of catch Chelsea being aggressive too at times. And, they were able to slow the pace to their liking every once in a while. If they did get control, they could draw a foul. And they're able to kind of break as well, which you don't expect from Brighton. It was pretty open for what you would expect going in this one. But best chance for Chelsea around the 17th minute or so. Back-to-back chances off the corner and kind of just creative wide play with one hitting the post. Chelsea finishing ability coming to bite them in the butt again. Brighton chances just not close when finishing, I thought. They're doing a good job of getting it in the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just like a Lamptey shot that goes high and wide and not even close. It's like, oh. I'm not shitting on Lamptey because he actually had a good game, but
That's not who you're looking to score.
yeah, it's unideal. It's hashtag not ideal. Then Reece James getting hurt.
Bad sign for Chelsea. things go from bad to worse.
Man, no Chilwell, no James. I don't know what they do.
Where your goals coming from?
Ooh, now they have no choice but to buy somebody. Going into this game, I was looking at guys for Chelsea at left back.
Yes.
The only guys I could find for like Premier League guys, because they're honestly not rumored with a ton of Premier League guys, which makes sense because there's not like a ton of left backs or even wing backs really that are on the market. The only guys I could find, Ait Nouri, which I don't know if Wolves would sell.
Probably not.
Enrico Henry. I don't know.
Well, the main one I've seen them be linked with is Luca Digne.
Yeah, I've seen that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that makes sense is that he's available because...
Yeah, he's available for a reason. He's not even good enough to play for Everton.
Well, apparently he's got a dispute with Rafa Benitez, so...
Well, join every Everton fan, Mr. Digne.
But the thing with Digne is that I think he's better suited for back four.
Yeah,
Not
he's
really
an
a
actual
wing back.
fullback.
So I think that's the most likely.
It's probably, let's be honest, it's probably like 97% chance.
Yeah.
It's just going to be someone from La Liga or Serie A or something, and not the Premier League. There's just not really suitable candidates for it, in my opinion. They tried to recall Emerson and were denied. I don't even know how you can deny a loan recall, but they're denied. Back to the game. Right after the injury, Lukaku, header, goal. Very strange. Why is Neil Maupay marking Romelu Lukaku?
I don't know. Why is he?
Don't ask me, ask Graham Potter. I don't know what that was. Veltman whiffed on it too. That also didn't help. But second half, Brighton come out. A lot of fast chances out of possession. Some penalty shouts for both sides, but they're pretty soft for both. A lot of it was just like guys slipped. Like Pulisic might have got, like, someone touched his pinky toe and he fell over. It's like, that's not a foul. Little LeBron James of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton was really hitting through balls too in the second half. I thought Chalobah, this was the first game I've seen where it's like he kind of just played bad.
Yeah.
Rudiger was bailing out a lot. Even if he messed up, he still bailed Chelsea out by getting back and recovering.
Mm-hmm.
But you could see they missed Thiago Silva big time.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time. Couple chances for Chelsea in the second half, and it feels like they always fall to Callum Hudson-Odoi. And that's where it really goes wrong for them.
That's...
If they could find a way to get, like, Mason Mount in those spots, that'd be great. But, no, it's, whether it's him giving it away or it's just like he makes the wrong decision whether to shoot or pass, it just goes wrong for that man.
Yeah.
Lallana had a big chance from about 10 yards out and put it over. That was very indicative of the first half, but it carried over the second half. The Basuma and Mount, like, fight, if you want to call it that, the like little shoving match.
A little scuffle.
They go head to head. But then at the death, Cucurella, who had a pretty good game, just drops it right on Welbeck's head. If you watch it, I feel like the goal shouldn't have happened. Chalobah's there in position, and he just gets beat to it by Danny Welbeck. Sometimes you tip your hat to the attack, but I don't know. I thought that was poor defending. So 1-1, not enough time for Chelsea to do anything. Finishes 1-1. Massive result for Brighton. Another disappointing, not only result, but another injury for Chelsea to one of their key guys.
And the league is slipping away quickly.
And we're going to that game next, where they clearly they drop points, and City are gaining points.
Yep.
City, Brentford.
Here's the lineups. Brentford, Fernandes, Pinnock, Jensen, Sorensen, Onyeka, Thompson, Jensen, Baptiste, Roerslev, Johan Wissa.
Yeah, he's
friend
back.
of the pod, Johan Wissa. Ivan Toney. For City, Ederson, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake. Absolute bants by Pep Guardiola. Laporte, Cancelo, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, Jesus, Grealish, Phil Foden. The two lads, the mad lads who went out on the town and got in trouble, back in the squad.
It's not even like Ake's bad, but just because City's so good that when Nathan Ake's in there, it's just like Pep dabbing on the opponent.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really like when Ross Barkley was out there for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Loftus-Cheek.
It's
like, get wrecked.
So starting off, this one surprisingly doesn't have an early goal in it. Well, not in the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
At least. But Brentford in the 15th minute nearly score from a Ruben Diaz deflection. Brentford looked decent, I would say. They had some good energy.
They were able to counter.
Yeah.
That's for sure. They were really quick, especially in the channels. For whatever reason, they were able to get wide and get up the field fast.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to connect on any of their passes, though, I thought, in the final third, really.
Yeah. Just a few moments later, scramble in the City box. Shots cleared off the line. Another chance for Brentford to score. But then City go down at the other end just right after. Foden scores just like a video game goal. The first time shot from De Bruyne. Well, cross was
Pass,
from
yeah.
De Bruyne. First time shot from Foden. Just so silky, that finish.
That, and they checked it for offside, and it was really close. They gave it to him.
Yeah.
And Tottenham fans were punching the air. They're like, what is this? Kane doesn't get it, but Foden does?
So 1-0 through Eminem. I mean, Phil Foden.
He's a legend.
And I got to say, respect to Brentford. They made this one a game. They really were holding City.
This looked like more like Brentford, this game.
Yeah, this looked more like
Than the
Brentford at the
Brighton game.
beginning of the season,
Mm-hmm.
where they were really giving teams a good challenge. Halftime, 1-0 City. Second half, it's kind of more of the same. Brentford are holding off City. Foden has a header, but he's offsides.
Mm-hmm. He was off big time.
Yeah, and then De Bruyne has a shot hit the post.
Yes. Pretty hard done not to score there.
Brentford really not having very much in attack at this point. It's just kind of
City was
keeping it respectable on
suffocating.
defense. Yeah. Laporte scores in the 86th minute.
That
Again,
was marginal.
offside, yeah. So, City pick up the 3 points. Not the most convincing one, but fairly comfortable, I would say.
Yes.
Decent performance from Brentford.
all
Better
you
than
can hope for,
expected, I
yeah.
would say.
Back to growing and improving.
Yeah.
City, massive win because you've seen how teams have struggled at Brentford this year.
Yeah, I really did like what I saw out of Brentford in that one. Just the energy looked a lot better.
And we're going to wrap it up with a team we haven't talked about yet. Yeah, we're talking Man U and Burnley.
Oh, my God, Burnley. Who?
Welcome back to the party. Davidea, Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Juan Bissaka. I'll let you know, Eric Bailly, he's just straight up ass out
Yes.
there. Mason Greenwood, Jadon Sancho, Nemanja Matic, Scott McTominay, Ronaldo, Cavani getting the start. Wayne Hennessy, what did we tell you?
What year is it?
What did we tell you? 2015. Matt Lowton, Charlie Taylor, James Tarkovsky, Ben Mee, Jack Cork, Johan Goodmanson, Dwight McNeil, Ashley Westwood, Chris Wood, Aaron Lennon.
What year is it?
Yeah, this one, a lot of chances. Well, not a lot of chances early, but early chances missed by both sides. Chris Wood could have easily put Burnley up 1-0
Come on, Chris.
with the header. Couldn't do it. Yeah, I mean, it was just an open game in general, really early on, which you wouldn't feel like that suits Burnley. So it's like, it's probably not going to go in Burnley's way. First goal, Ronaldo at the edge of the box gets the ball, has just a pretty shitty touch. Let's be quite frank. It has a terrible touch, but it's a perfect layoff to Scott McTominay, who just rips goals like out of nowhere for no reason sometimes. Yeah, and then after for another 5 or 10 minutes, game kind of slows down. Man U holding possession. You know, they're applying pressure, but I thought Burnley was okay for this stretch in terms of defense. They're holding their shape and whatnot, but eventually it broke because Man U were able to break quick. And when they would first get the ball and then push it, that's when they were going to get Burnley out this entire time. That's why I thought it was weird. Burnley was kind of keeping the game open as much as they were, but Man U break quick. Yet almost give the ball away, but Luke Shaw wins it back, plays it to Sancho. Sancho going up the wing, cuts in on his right, shoots. I think they called an own goal.
Yes, officially own goal.
Pretty unlucky, but it probably was going wide. 2-0. Burnley's midfield, slow and weak, is how my notes had it described. Another goal. Build-up play. leads to Sancho laying it off, top of the box, to who else but Scott McTominay, who rips it off the crossbar. Wayne Hennessy dove, couldn't get there, and the ball goes off the bar and sits right out in front, where there's no Burnley defenders for some reason. But who's there? Cristiano Ronaldo. The
CR7.
tap-in merchant that he is.
Scoring goals.
And then once you know it, out of nowhere, right before half, who else but Aaron Lennon wins the ball off Bailey in midfield and then just dribbles straight ahead, and no one on Man U cared enough to stop him.
How
Optional
strange.
defending.
How absolutely strange. Aaron Lennon, Mark Noble scoring goals.
So 3-1 in this one, but Ronaldo almost in again before half, but Wayne Hennessy able to clear it. Just shambolic defending from Burnley to allow that to happen. To Ronaldo in behind, one-on-one with the keep, but what do you expect? Burnley's defense this year's been... Second half, United just was like, you know what, we don't even want the game to be open. So they just weren't doing a ton. There was like 1 or 2 counters maybe, resulted in another Scott McTominay rip. But all Burnley's chances in this game, which honestly they did have a few, I'll give them that, besides the Aaron Lennon one, all came off corners and set pieces. So even though they didn't score, United's defense scares me a little bit. It does scare me.
Yeah.
When you're giving up these chances to Burnley. Because on any given night, Burnley can just, for whatever reason, convert those, and then you draw 3-3 with Burnley, and then you're very sad.
Glorious.
Yeah, and then chances throughout the second half that were just not taken, especially case in point, Mr. Mati Vidra comes on and just absolute shit house of a striker, just completely misses on a clear-cut chance.
He's so terrible.
3-1 it finishes. I guess 3 points for United. You take that, but
Yeah, 3 points, 3 goals.
before we preview next match week and the couple makeup games, we'll just go right through the table. It's City 50 points, Chelsea 42, Liverpool 41, Arsenal 35, West Ham, United, Tottenham, and then there's a little bit of a gap. Wolves, Leicester equal on 25. Brighton at 24, Palace 23, Villa 22, Southampton 21, Brentford 20, Everton 19. It just decreases by 1 point for all these teams. Leeds 16, Watford 13, and then we got 11, 11, and 10 in the relegation zone for Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich in that order. So title race is over.
Yes.
When would City...
The squad depth is OP.
Not even that, but when would City lose? Like, they'd have to lose 3 more games.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 3
Not
more
going to
games.
happen.
So it's really just a race for the top 4 at this point.
Yeah, we'll see how far Chelsea fall.
Yeah, especially without James. But that's when Chelsea's at their best for like no reason. When you don't expect them to do anything, then they come out of nowhere and shock you. So right now, you'd bet on Arsenal, West Ham, United, Tottenham. Rank those for the 4th spot. Your power ranks.
I would say Arsenal, Tottenham, United is where I would stand.
Yeah.
I just really don't see United getting it.
No.
The way they've been playing. Pretty terrible.
I think Arsenal and Tottenham are kind of neck and neck.
Yeah, I would agree.
So
West Ham, I feel like
their defense right now has got me very, very worried. Their backups.
They dropped off enough that, I mean, maybe they get
if they had a
6th.
little bit of a lead.
Yeah.
If there was a gap between Arsenal and them, still like a 3 to 6 point lead, I'd have decent faith in them. I'd say it's 50-50, but since they're 4 points behind, no, not a chance.
And the fact that there's like half a season left, I mean, you just don't feel great about where West Ham's at the moment. I mean, maybe they can contend with United to get the 6th spot.
we say this, West Ham, prove us wrong, because
Yes,
we
please
want to
do.
see
Please do.
David Moyes in the Champions
More
League.
Mark Noble.
Moving on, next match week fixtures. No team of the week this week because I hate when it's 2 match weeks because then it's like, should I just do one? Should I do 2 for both? I don't want to do that.
Choose for yourself, listeners.
Yes. January 1st, New Year's Day.
Happy New Year's.
Arsenal and City. No Arteta.
Some classic pain to ring in the new year for all us Arsenal fans out there. I
Just
got
let
a
a big scream out.
I got a 3-0 City.
What are you going to be looking for in this game?
Well, let's see Arsenal's defense. I mean, the right back area is a question mark. Tomiyasu hasn't trained, I don't think. So, I mean, we might see Tavares at right back. We might see the same Rob Holding. Really, it was Ben White who played right back in that game. Rob Holding as center back. But City, I expect more of the same, strong
Them
offensively.
leaving that game open against Leicester gives me a glimmer of hope for Arsenal. I would say there's 0% chance, but I'll give Arsenal a 5% chance.
I don't think 5% is fair.
I'm going to go with a 3-1 Man City victory at the Emirates. Watford, Tottenham, at the Vic.
This is such a Tottenham game to lose.
No.
Yes.
I can't
yes.
see it. Watford are so bad right now.
Yes, that's the point.
What are you looking for in this one?
Are we going to see more of the Spurs versus Crystal Palace or more of the Spurs versus Southampton?
I think it would almost have to be Crystal Palace, but not because Watford are pressing or anything, but just because Watford's defense is so bad, Tottenham's bound to score at least 2 goals.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory for Tottenham.
I'm going to say 2-1 Watford, just to
Wow.
be spicy.
Palace, West Ham, at Selhurst. This is a proper English game right
Yeah.
here.
Nice London derby.
Yeah.
Should be a good one. Exciting teams, good attack.
What are we looking for?
I would expect it to be high scoring, maybe a 3-2. Whose favorite goes in? I'm not quite sure at this moment.
I want to see this midfield battle with Gallagher, Kouyaté, and Will Hughes versus Rice and Soucek. Which team is kind of more able to hold it down? I guess West Ham's going to have a little more. They have more attacking midfielders, too, to combine into that. So can Palace kind of withhold the pressure from West Ham's midfield?
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe West Ham scoring 4 on Watford will give them a little bit more kick up their keister. Give them a little more juice
Away,
out
though.
there. True. It is at Selhurst. I will go with a 2-2 draw.
I'm going to say 3-2 West Ham.
Brentford, Villa. Some teams that were struck with COVID a while back now. Back in action. Or should be.
Yeah.
This one, Villa's going to come out and they're going to play like they did against Norwich.
Right.
In terms of they're not looking to just sit back and defend.
Yeah.
Maybe, there will be some holes for Brentford to exploit in midfield. I need to see Brentford get Ivan Toney and Mbeumo the ball more, though.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I really got to get that attack going, scoring some more goals before
Maybe Kanyos getting up and Rico Henry getting in there. Well, Rico Henry's out, but,
Yeah. Yeah, this is one I'd expect Villa to win, maybe 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, the first match they played earlier this year was a fantastic match. I think it was 2-1 Villa or 2-1 Brentford. But I would say we're going to go 1-1.
Okay.
Everton, Brighton, at Goodison. Hopefully this one gets played.
Yeah, it might not.
It should, but
Everton.
you never know. Brighton able to hold the ball. Everton like to sit back and defend. Yeah.
I'd give the advantage to Brighton on this one.
Yeah, especially since Everton's been sitting out. But
Yeah, Brighton's been decent since they
the restart.
the
them.
restart for them. Yeah. I like it.
I'm going to go with a 1-0 Brighton.
I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton.
Who's scoring for Everton?
Townsend.
Oh. Leeds,
If
Burnley,
he's available. I don't
Elland
know.
Road. This one has a feeling like it might not get played too, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah, Leeds looking like it's a good chance it doesn't. I mean, they've been struggling anyways. Not to mention the fact that they have like a super thin squad. I mean, just in normal times anyways. For some reason, didn't really make the proper additions needed.
Yeah.
So if this one is played,
Leeds, you would think, would be able to kind of try and spread Burnley, but if Burnley's going to hold that form that they're able to sometimes in terms of defense, and Leeds' defending's not great. They could be susceptible to the counter. It's hard to say what would prevail, Leeds' attack or, Burnley's defense, since they're both not super sharp.
mm-hmm.
I will go with a 2-1 Leeds.
I'd say 1-0 Burnley.
Okay.
They gotta get some wins somewhere.
I trust Rafinha. He's the best player out there. I trust him the most.
Yes.
Chelsea, Liverpool.
Massive match. Massive match.
The Lukaku stuff
Massive match.
has two ways to go. Completely horrible and he leaves and Chelsea have to sell him, or somehow it creates a semblance of lighting a spark under the squad.
Yeah, you feel
There's
like
two-
Chelsea, these things usually go like the opposite way you'd think they'd go.
Yeah.
So I expect Chelsea still to lose,
Yeah.
but I think they'll get over the Lukaku thing and it'll be water under the bridge.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah,
And I think City's going to really
City.
ramp up the title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Virtually wrap it up.
Yeah, I would say 1-1. Good chance of happening. I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool squeaking out the victory.
United, Wolves at Old Trafford. We'll see if this one gets played too with Wolves squad, but
Yeah.
it should.
I think Wolves
Wolves might
their
have a
defense
nice...
should be able to hold United.
Yeah, I was going to say Wolves might have a decent chance of coming away with something here. I think with the way Man U has been just sloppy in terms of whether it be the defensive aspect for a little bit, because it's almost like all three components of United suck throughout a game, but it's at different points each component sucks. Like for a little bit the attack sucks, for a little bit the midfield sucks, and for a little bit the defense sucks. It's very strange.
Yeah.
I will go with a 0-0 draw.
I'm going to say 1-1.
Okay.
So moving on to some postponed games being made up. First one we got Southampton versus Brentford. Southampton been in pretty good form. What are you thinking on this one?
This feels like one Brentford would almost have to kind of steal. They need a little more than Southampton, but it'll be interesting to see how Brentford's game against Villa goes. See, what kind of rotation we're looking at, because that's the main thing with these teams that had COVID suspended games. They're going to have to be firing them out too, just like the other teams were. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 Southampton victory.
I'm going to say 1-1.
Everton, Leicester.
On paper, you're thinking Leicester should be able to beat Everton. But the way
You would think
Leicester have
Leicester
been
could beat a
playing
lot
this
of
season,
teams.
you never know. Nothing's guaranteed.
I like Leicester's attack the way it's going right now, though. And
Yeah.
I don't care a ton for Everton's attack. So Leicester's defense might be able to hold up here and maybe build on something. I'm going to go Leicester 2-0.
I'm going to say Leicester 1-0.
West Ham and Norwich at the London Stadium.
Ugh, God, Norwich, close your eyes.
I don't know. West Ham should be able to 5 or 6-0 them, because Norwich is going to kind of keep it a little open, and that's all West Ham needs. If you sit back against West Ham, they're not going to have nearly as good of a chance to score. If you are going to play it open and try and actually build from the back and go forward, you're going to lose the ball to Declan Rice or Tommy Suchek, and you're going to have West Ham counterattacking on your head. So I'm going to go with a fat 5-0.
I'm going to say a minimum of 3-0. Possibly 4-0.
Come on, West Ham, don't let us down. We're back
This
on
is where
shitting
they
on Norwich.
lose, and it's just like, come on.
We look just like the biggest brainlets of all time.
Absolute fools. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. Match week 19/20. Next week, we got 21 and a little extra cherry on the top.
Yeah, a little Salmon Hank sprinkles for you. A little Southampton
A
sprinkles.
little Salt Bay.
Yep.
So anyways, on that note, thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Make sure to follow on Spotify, like on YouTube, leave a comment, whatever. It doesn't matter. We love you. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Adios, mis amigos.